Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Football with Priscilla. I'm Priscilla, obviously. So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, After what has been a crazy season, the Premier League is finally over. We saw Man City lift the trophy. Obviously the last day was crazy. There was a lot of drama. It was intense. There was a lot of joy, a lot of sorrow. Liverpool fans. Yeah. So now the season is over, and today I decided to take a look back at the season. And the way in which I'm gonna do that is I wanted to look at the five managers that stood out for me in the 2022 season. Now, these managers were not the best, okay? They're not the Jurgen Klopps and they're not the Pep Guardiolas, but they are the simple managers that, for me, made their teams stand out. Now, I will rate these managers from the fifth until the first. So it's the five managers for me, the top five managers for me that stood out for me. Now, disclaimer, there's no Antonio Conte, there's no Jurgen Klopp, and there's no Pep Guardiola, okay? So in fifth place, there is Eddie Howe. Now, Eddie Howe recently got the job with Newcastle, and when he was being appointed as the Newcastle manager, all of us were obviously surprised because Newcastle has now been bought by, is it some, well, rich guys, and so we know that Newcastle is going to come up. So all of us were expecting Newcastle to obviously go for a big manager, and instead they went for Eddie Howe. Now, when he went to Newcastle, I was expecting like, okay, Newcastle is going to be relegated. I wasn't really for the idea, but from nowhere, Newcastle just got revamped, and they ended up finishing on the 11th position in the table. So that's it about Newcastle. So in the fifth position, Eddie Howe. He's been one of the best managers for me that stood out in the Premier League in the 2021-2022 season. In fourth place, we have Steven Gerrard. Now, for all of you who know, Steven Gerrard is a legend of the Premier League. Okay, he's a legend of Liverpool. For us who've grown up with Steven Gerrard, for us who've grown up watching the Premier League, at least in my era, it was about Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, John Terry, Wayne Rooney, um, Michael Gallagher. Those were the names that we remembered. That is what made the Premier League, the rivalries and everything. So Steven Gerrard obviously retired from Liverpool, and now he went and he was coaching Rangers, and at Rangers he was doing very well if you were following the Scottish league. And then he came back. So when Aston Villa said they wanted to get Steven Gerrard, I was like, is that a good idea? Like, I wasn't for the idea of Aston Villa getting Steven Gerrard because, we've seen it a lot where these coaches are in other leagues, and then when they call them to the major league like the Premier League, they fail to perform. So I was thinking, okay, maybe Steven Gerrard will not perform. Maybe he's not that good. Like, maybe Rangers is just Rangers. So when he came to the Premier League, I thought, okay, he's going to flop. Well, lo and behold, he did not flop. I think for me, for the first season, Jared brought like a good style of play for Aston Villa. If you follow Aston Villa, I'll watch their games. Maybe not every time, but from time to time, you could see that their game changed. And obviously, them losing Jack Grealish last summer, he was their main man, so there was a lot of confusion. But Steven Gerrard really brought that team together, and they finished on the 14th position. So it wasn't so bad for his first time in the Premier League. So yeah, that's it on Steven Gerrard. He also stood out for me. In the third position, now this one, you have to understand that I am a Man United fan. Okay, so me mentioning this particular person is going to come off as what can I say? It's gonna be very weird. Like I said, growing up in the Gerrard, John Terry, Lampard, Michael Gallagher, Wayne Rooney era, there's also the Patrick Vieiras of Arsenal. Now at that time, Arsenal had Henry, they had Patrick Vieira, we had Wayne Rooney, we had Rio Ferdinand, we had Vidic. At that time, Gary Neville, there was rivalry, okay? Not the rivalry where they joke and laugh like right now, what we're seeing. No, us who grew up with watching Vieira, watching Henry, watching Rooney, watching Gary Neville, watching Paul Scholes, we understood the rivalry that was there. So for me to mention this particular person being a Manchester United fan, is actually quite something. But yeah, in third position, Patrick Vieira. Now, when Vieira was coming back to the Premier League, I was like, wait, Vieira still exists? And I did not expect Vieira to thrive in the Premier League. Like, I just didn't see it. Like, I know I said I didn't see it for Gerrard. For Vieira, it was worse. I was like, no, there's no way he's going to thrive in the Premier League. But yeah, from nowhere, he's managed to thrive. And a Crystal Palace that was falling off. If you notice, Crystal Palace was not holding the position where it was before. But Vieira really brought in a good style of play, um, which is not something that I expected. Um, before he came in, Crystal Palace was struggling a lot, and they were going down as a 15th, 16th position. So it was very hard for Crystal Palace, but he managed to bring them back up. He managed to bring them to play as a team. And if you've watched Crystal Palace throughout this season, you know that they are not an easy team to beat. Surprise, surprise! They beat Manchester United on the last day. Anyway, maybe that's Vieira's way of laughing at us. Like, funny how Vieira hit the nail on the head. An Arsenal, a former Arsenal legend. Anyway, so yeah, Vieira really did shock me. I was very surprised with how well Crystal Palace has done this season, and they finished on the 12th position. So yeah, that should show you that he really did something and pushed the team. In second position, we have another shocker. Now, I know people will be shocked. I'm a Manchester United fan. Like I said, I've been a Manchester United fan who has enjoyed the rivalry, the Arsenal banter. We have laughed at Arsenal. I still remember when Mikel Arteta was playing for Arsenal. We still used to laugh at Arsenal. Okay, so I was in that era when I used to hate Arsenal when Arteta was there. So this person that I am mentioning now is the biggest shock. But let me explain. So yeah, in second position, I'm going to give it to Mikel Arteta. Now, I know a lot of Arsenal fans have thrown their hands up. They're in the place of depression. Others are like just, it's crazy in the Arsenal fan base. There are Arteta outs and Arteta ins. And I hear he got a contract. So there's all that. But now, Mikel Arteta, okay, you people have to understand. He at first he had Aubameyang, he had Lacazette, he had Pepe, so just those three and others. So now you have to understand, Mikel Arteta was inheriting an Arsenal team. Well, Unai Emery did build it a bit, but he was inheriting a not so good Arsenal team. Now, from the time Arsene Wenger left Arsenal, Arsenal hasn't been the same. But even when Arsene Wenger was the coach of Arsenal, Arsenal was still deteriorating. But Wenger knew Arsenal like it was his baby. So he knew how to make it function without even the right players. But that aside. So Mikel Arteta eventually got it. Like, obviously he was there when Ole was there, before Ole was fired. Anyway, so Arteta realized what I had been saying this whole time with regards to Manchester United. Sometimes when you have these elite and experienced players, it's so hard for you to instill in them a system, and it's so hard for them to cope to the system because they already have a system in their minds. Now, these players are playing for nothing because they are already experienced, okay? Then you have academy players. You have those players that no one knows they exist. So it's very easy for you to instill a system in kids, like in academy players, because one, they want to make a name for themselves. Two, they don't have a system embedded in their heads, so it's going to be easier for them to adapt new systems. Now, players like Aubameyang, he started becoming big-headed. Okay, he would travel to go get a tattoo in Spain. Like, you're the captain of Arsenal, and Arsenal are losing, and you're traveling. Really, dude? So Arteta knew, like, okay, so the big boys don't want to listen to me. Why not try the kids? The Saka, the Nketiah, the Smith Rowe, the what's this guy name? Gabriel. He brought in the kids and instilled in them a style of play he wanted. Now Arsenal was playing, if you noticed, kind of a high intense pressing football. And even though Arsenal fans are going crazy, I can see what he's trying to do. It's not easy building a team. Rome wasn't built in one day. So what he is doing, he's molding those kids. You don't expect them to win and go into like UEFA in the first season. Let's not forget, Arsenal wasn't even playing any other tournaments apart from the FA Cup and Carling Cup. They were not in the Europa and they were also not in the UEFA. So it was easy. But I think this was a good experience for the kids. Next time, like next season, they will build on what they have made right now. So even though the Arsenal fans were losing their heads, that's a team he's building. That team is growing into that system. So what Arteta did, I think Arsenal was somewhere ninth and we're all laughing at them like at the beginning of the season. And I personally thought Mikel Arteta would be fired. But well, here he is. Now in first position, this is the coach that I have been talking about this whole entire season. I've praised him. I've talked about him. Can you guess who he is? It's none other than Graham Potter. Graham Potter. Potter Ball, they call it. Now, I have been talking about Brighton this whole entire season. You people don't understand. I enjoy watching Brighton play more than I enjoy Leicester playing. And Leicester is that like side team that you just support, you know. Now, Graham Potter has been developing this Brighton team. And I could see it last season in how they were playing. Um, if you've seen this season, Brighton is a difficult team to beat. Like they are annoying. But it's not about it being a difficult team. It's about the way he's made them start playing. So Graham Potter has, for me, I love a coach that manages to get the best out of players that are not elite. Like when I talk about elite players, like Messi is a talent. You don't need to give him a whole entire speech for you to release the gift that he has. But if you can make a player like Mwepu, Besuma, I've forgotten that guy's name from Brighton with the one with hair. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. Yeah, but like if you can make those players look elite when they're not elite, then you understand that the coach is good. This is why I say sometimes it's just about the system. And he's made a system in which the Brighton players can thrive, you know? So yeah, Graham Potter really has made Brighton a very interesting team to watch. If you never watched them last season, then you missed out. Because whenever there was a Brighton game, I know it's mostly about like Enoch Mwepu. Obviously, I am a huge Enoch Mwepu fan. But like, yeah, it wasn't about Enoch Mwepu. Like, even if Mwepu is not playing, I would watch Brighton play. And they were just so good last season. They were so good. And all praise really goes to Graham Potter for how he set them up and how he's developing that system. That's why, I think, and I'm like, sometimes we just go for a name, for the coach's name. Like you go for a Mourinho, you go for a Guardiola, you go for Ten Hag, you go for um Jurgen Klopp. Not because sometimes it's not because we understand that they can do the job. Sometimes it's because, oh my god, the media is talking about them. They've done this, accomplished that, which is a good thing. They already have that mentality. But there are other coaches that are actually good. They just don't have the tools. And for me, the coaches that don't have the tools but are able to bring out the best in players and stuff like that, like for me, that is what I admire about coaches. So yeah, looking at the coaches that are not so much talked about, that are not so much elite, but are amazing. for me, these five coaches, um, Eddie Howe, Steven Gerrard, Patrick Vieira, Mikel Arteta, and Graham Potter. For me, these five coaches really did a lot last season. They did amazing. I enjoyed watching their games, and I enjoyed how they brought their teams to a different level. So yeah, comment below and tell me which managers, according to you, which five managers stood out to you in the previous season, the 2021-2022 season. So yeah, that's the video I had for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my video. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Bye.